What if I told you that the difference between the people who achieve greatness and those who live their lives in quiet frustration is not intelligence, not luck, not even talent, but discipline? What if I told you that the most powerful force you could ever harness is not motivation, because motivation comes and goes, but the unshakable ability to control yourself even when every part of you wants to quit? Discipline is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is not the thing you brag about on social media. Discipline is waking up at 5 a.m. when your body begs you to stay in bed. Discipline is closing the door, sitting at your desk, and doing the work that matters when your phone keeps calling you to check notifications. Discipline is choosing the pain of now to secure the rewards of tomorrow. Think about it. Everyone wants success. Everyone dreams of financial freedom, physical strength, emotional stability. Everyone says they want to change their life, but very few actually do. Why? Because the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be is paved not with dreams, not with wishes, but with discipline. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright for a moment, but it dies fast. Discipline is the firewood. It keeps the flame alive long after the spark has gone out. That's why you don't need to feel motivated to succeed. You need to feel disciplined. Let me tell you a story. Thomas Edison, the man who gave the world the light bulb, failed more than 1,000 times before he succeeded. 1,000 times! Imagine that. Do you think he was motivated after his 500th failure? After his 700th? Motivation would have died. What kept him going was discipline, the daily decision to try again, the daily refusal to quit. And today, the entire world remembers his name. Discipline is a decision you make not once, but every day. Every morning when the alarm goes off, every time you sit down to eat, every time you choose between wasting an hour scrolling or using that hour to build something that will change your future. Discipline whispers, "Do it now, because later will be too late." Think of athletes. Kobe Bryant didn't become one of the greatest basketball players because he was motivated. He became great because of his discipline. He practiced longer than anyone else, trained harder, stayed in the gym when everyone else went home. Discipline separated him from the rest. That's why when you look at champions, you're not just looking at talent, you're looking at thousands of hours of disciplined practice that nobody else saw. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Discipline will hurt you. It will make you uncomfortable. It will push you into places where you question yourself, where you ask, "Why am I doing this?" But that pain is not your enemy. That pain is the cost of transformation. Without it, you stay the same. Now ask yourself, do you really want to change? Do you really want to become the person you imagine? Because if you do, you must stop waiting for the perfect moment. You must stop waiting until you feel like it. You won't. That feeling almost never comes. Success belongs to those who act, not those who wait. Discipline is freedom. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? How can following strict rules and controlling yourself give you freedom? But think about it. When you discipline yourself with money, you gain financial freedom. When you discipline yourself with health, you gain physical freedom. When you discipline your mind, you gain emotional freedom. Lack of discipline is slavery. You become a prisoner of your impulses, your laziness, your distractions. True freedom is earned through discipline. Every single successful person you admire has built their life on discipline. Elon Musk works insane hours because he disciplines himself to prioritize the mission over comfort. Writers, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, all of them live by discipline. And the ones who don't, they vanish, forgotten by history. This is the first truth you must accept. Discipline will not make your life easier. It will make you stronger. And strength is the only path to greatness. Let me ask you something. How many times have you set a goal, felt inspired, even wrote it down, only to give up within a week? You said you'd start exercising. You said you'd start saving money. You said you'd wake up early and work on your dreams. And maybe you did, for 3 days, maybe a week. But then it got hard. The excitement faded. The temptation to go back to comfort grew louder. And you gave in. This is the cycle of most people's lives. Desire, attempt, failure, repeat. Why? Because they rely on motivation instead of discipline. Motivation is a visitor. It knocks on your door, stays for a short while, then leaves. Discipline is a permanent resident. It never leaves your side, if you let it in. Do you think Navy SEALs feel motivated every morning to train? Do you think marathon runners feel motivated during the 20th mile? Of course not. They rely on discipline. They've trained their minds and bodies to obey a decision, not a feeling. That's the secret. Discipline is choosing your future self over your current self. Discipline is saying, I don't care how I feel right now, I care about who I want to become. And here's something most people overlook. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The first time you wake up early, it's hard. The 10th time, it's easier. The 100th time, it's automatic. Every act of discipline rewires your brain, reshapes your habits, rebuilds your identity. Eventually, discipline becomes who you are. Look at the Roman soldiers. Their entire empire was built on discipline. Armies that conquered the known world did not succeed because of raw passion or fleeting motivation. They succeeded because of structure, order, repetition, discipline. The same principle applies to your life. If you want to conquer your goals, you must become a soldier of your own destiny. The tragedy is that many people never experience the power of discipline because they confuse it with punishment. They think discipline is about depriving themselves of fun, of joy, of freedom. But true discipline is not punishment. It's training. A musician disciplines themselves to practice scales every day, not because it's glamorous, but because it unlocks the ability to create beauty. A writer disciplines themselves to write daily, not because it's easy, but because it unlocks the gift of storytelling. A person disciplines themselves in health, not because avoiding junk food is fun, but because the energy, confidence, and longevity it gives is priceless. Discipline is the road, and roads are not always easy to walk. Sometimes they're steep, sometimes they're long, sometimes they seem endless. But every step you take builds momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Here's the key. You don't need to be perfect. Discipline does not demand perfection. It demands persistence. You will fail sometimes. You will skip a day, break a rule, fall back into old habits. But discipline says, get up again, keep moving, start over. Every time you choose to continue, your discipline grows. Think about Michael Jordan. People call him one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But do you know what he said? I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. Do you see it? Failure didn't break him, because discipline held him together. Discipline turned failure into progress. Now I want you to imagine your own life. Imagine where you could be in a year if you truly committed to discipline. Imagine your body stronger, your mind sharper, your bank account healthier, your relationships better. Imagine waking up with pride instead of regret. All of that is possible, but only if you stop waiting. Only if you stop relying on motivation. Only if you choose discipline today, tomorrow, and every day after that. The choice is always in your hands. Comfort or discipline. Excuses or action. Regret or growth. Which one will you choose? Let's go even deeper. Think about the world we live in today. Everything around you is designed for comfort and distraction. Fast food, fast entertainment, instant gratification. You can order food without leaving your couch. You can scroll on your phone for hours without moving your body. You can escape reality with one click. The modern world is a paradise for comfort, but a prison for discipline. And this is why so many people feel empty, restless, unfulfilled. Discipline is rare because the world constantly whispers, "Relax, take it easy, you deserve a break." But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Nothing great has ever been built from comfort. Comfort is where dreams die. Discipline is where dreams are born. Let me give you an example. Take Thomas Edison. People celebrate him as the inventor of the light bulb, but what they forget is that Edison failed over 1,000 times before creating a working model. Do you think he was motivated on his 500th failure? Do you think he woke up excited after being told, "You're wasting your time," hundreds of times? No. What kept him going was discipline. Discipline to keep experimenting. Discipline to keep trying. Discipline to ignore the noise and believe in persistence. That is why the world remembers his name. Now, contrast that with the countless people who gave up after their first, second, or third failure. Their names are forgotten, their ideas are buried, their dreams remain unfulfilled. The difference between Edison and the millions who quit is not talent, not luck, not opportunity. It was discipline. And this is the harsh reality. Life doesn't care about your feelings. The universe does not reward laziness. Success is never given, it is earned through consistent action. You cannot negotiate with reality. If you want strength, you must lift the weight. If you want knowledge, you must read the books. If you want wealth, you must save and invest. If you want love, you must show up and give. None of these things happen by accident. They happen by discipline. But here's the beauty. Once you embrace discipline, life becomes easier, not harder. Yes, the beginning is tough. Yes, your mind will resist. But over time, discipline simplifies your choices. You no longer debate with yourself every morning whether to work out. You just do it. You no longer fight with yourself over every purchase. You save and invest automatically. Discipline frees you from the endless war with temptation. It creates peace of mind. Think about a student learning a new language. At first, every word feels foreign, every grammar rule feels confusing. It's frustrating. But with discipline, daily practice, daily repetition, daily effort, something changes. The words start to flow. The grammar makes sense. The student transforms into a speaker. Discipline turns the impossible into the possible. Now, let's talk about something uncomfortable: pain. Discipline is often painful. Waking up early when you're tired hurts. Saying no to cake when everyone else is eating it hurts. Studying when you'd rather party hurts. But here's the secret. Pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret is eternal. 10 years from now, you won't remember the minor discomfort of discipline, but you will feel the deep regret of wasted time, wasted potential, wasted life. Look at successful athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They all share one common trait: an ability to endure short-term pain for long-term reward. Serena Williams didn't become a legend by practicing only when she felt like it. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by working part-time when it was convenient. Leonardo da Vinci didn't master his craft by painting once a month. They disciplined themselves relentlessly. That's why their names live forever. And here's something even more powerful. Discipline is contagious. When you live with discipline, people notice. Your family notices. Your friends notice. Your coworkers notice. You inspire others without even trying. You become a living example of what's possible. And in a world full of excuses, that is rare and valuable. So ask yourself, do you want to be ordinary or do you want to be exceptional? Ordinary people live by feelings. Exceptional people live by discipline. Ordinary people quit when it's hard. Exceptional people keep going.
Ordinary people complain. Exceptional people build. The difference is discipline. Every time you choose discipline, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become, and each vote counts. One workout doesn't make you an athlete. One book doesn't make you a scholar. One act of courage doesn't make you fearless. But repeat those choices again and again, and discipline forges a new identity. You don't just act disciplined, you become disciplined. Let's uncover another truth about self-discipline. It is not about punishment, it is about freedom. Many people hear the word discipline and imagine a strict, joyless life. But real discipline is the opposite. Real discipline creates freedom. Freedom from debt because you control your spending, freedom from poor health because you control your habits, freedom from regret because you control your choices. Discipline doesn't trap you, it liberates you. Think about money. Most people spend impulsively. They live paycheck to paycheck, always stressed about bills. But the disciplined person saves, invests, delays gratification. And while others are drowning in financial chaos, the disciplined person has freedom. Freedom to travel, to retire early, to live without fear of the next emergency. Discipline buys peace of mind. Now look at health. Many people abuse their bodies with junk food, with laziness, with late nights. They think discipline in diet and exercise is too hard. But in reality, discipline gives freedom. Freedom to move without pain, freedom to enjoy life without illness, freedom to grow old with strength instead of weakness. Every push-up, every healthy meal, every early bedtime is a deposit into a future of freedom. This applies to your mind as well. A disciplined mind doesn't consume endless negativity, gossip, and meaningless entertainment. A disciplined mind seeks growth, knowledge, wisdom. The result? Freedom of thought, freedom from manipulation, freedom to think independently in a world where most people blindly follow the crowd. But here is where many people fail. They wait for motivation. They say, "I'll start when I feel ready." They wait for inspiration, for the perfect mood, for the right circumstances. But let me be brutally honest with you. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation is like the weather. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it rains. If you build your life around motivation, you'll quit the moment the storm comes. Discipline is the shelter that protects you in the storm. Discipline is doing it whether you feel like it or not. Here's a powerful truth. You don't need to feel good to do good. You don't need to feel motivated to act. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. The disciplined person understands this. They act first, and the feelings catch up later. The undisciplined person waits for feelings that may never come, and so they remain stuck. Think about the gym again. How many times have you not wanted to go but forced yourself anyway, and afterwards you felt amazing? That's the power of discipline. The action created the feeling, not the other way around. Discipline also teaches patience. In a culture obsessed with instant gratification, patience is almost extinct. Everyone wants results now. Get rich quick, lose weight fast, learn a language in 1 week. But the truth is that anything valuable takes time. Discipline trains you to delay gratification, to put in the work today for the reward tomorrow. This is not punishment, it's maturity, it's wisdom, it's power. The bamboo tree is a perfect example. When you plant a bamboo seed, nothing seems to happen for years. You water it, you nurture it, you protect it, but for a long time, there's no visible growth. Then suddenly, in a matter of weeks, the bamboo shoots up dozens of feet. But that rapid growth was only possible because of years of invisible discipline underground. That's how success works. Discipline creates invisible roots, and when the time is right, the results explode. Let's go even deeper. Self-discipline builds character. When you say no to laziness, you say yes to strength. When you resist temptation, you prove to yourself that you are in control. Every act of discipline shapes your identity, and identity is destiny. People often ask, what's the secret to confidence? The answer is simple. Keep the promises you make to yourself. If you say you'll wake up early and you do, your confidence grows. If you say you'll work out and you do, your confidence grows. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that your word matters. But if you constantly break promises to yourself, you destroy trust with the most important person in your life, you. Self-discipline is self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of confidence. Now think about leadership. Great leaders are not the smartest or the most talented or the most charismatic. Great leaders are disciplined. They lead by example. They show up consistently. They do what needs to be done even when it's hard. That's why people follow them. Without discipline, leadership is empty words. With discipline, leadership becomes a force that transforms others.
And here's something extraordinary. The more disciplined you become, the easier life gets. Not because the challenges disappear, but because you grow stronger. What once seemed impossible becomes normal. Waking up early becomes natural. Saving money becomes automatic. Exercising becomes routine. Discipline is like compound interest. Small actions multiplied by time create extraordinary results. So here is the question for you. Will you choose the temporary comfort of ease or the lasting freedom of discipline? Will you live by feelings or will you live by principles? Will you settle for mediocrity or will you rise to excellence? The choice is yours. And every day, every decision, every moment, you cast your vote. Let's bring everything together. We've seen that self-discipline is not about restriction, but about power. It is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Without discipline, nothing in your life will change. You can dream, you can plan, you can talk about your goals all day long, but without discipline, it all dies in your imagination. Think about the most successful people in history, from athletes to inventors, from entrepreneurs to leaders. What do they all have in common? It's not luck, it's not genius, it's discipline. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Most people would have quit after the 10th attempt, or the 100th, or the 1000th. But Edison's discipline kept him going. He didn't wait for inspiration. He created it through relentless action. Or think about athletes. The Olympic champion doesn't train only when they feel motivated. They train every day through pain, through exhaustion, through boredom. Discipline is what separates the amateur from the professional. Talent can take you only so far. Discipline takes you to the finish line. And what about writers, musicians, or artists? Creativity may spark an idea, but only discipline turns it into a masterpiece. Every book you've ever loved, every song that changed your life, every film that moved you, they all exist because someone had the discipline to finish what they started. Now let's look at your own life. Imagine where you could be 1 year from now if you applied daily discipline. Imagine your health, your finances, your skills, your relationships. Imagine waking up 1 year from today and realizing you have become a completely new person, stronger, wiser, freer. That vision is possible, but it requires one thing: self-discipline. Let me give you a mental shift. Stop asking, "How do I feel?" and start asking, "What needs to be done?" Discipline is not about feelings, it's about action. Feelings change. Discipline remains. Every day, remind yourself, I don't need to feel ready, I just need to begin. Here's a practical method. Choose one area of your life where you need discipline the most. Maybe it's health, maybe it's money, maybe it's your career. Then identify the smallest possible daily habit you can commit to. Just one. And then do it consistently,
Every day, rain or shine, whether you feel like it or not. This small habit becomes a seed, and with time, it grows into unstoppable momentum. Discipline is not built in one day. It is built daily. It is not a single choice. It is thousands of choices. And the beauty of it is this: the more you choose discipline, the easier it becomes. The brain rewires, the body adapts, the spirit strengthens. Discipline that once felt impossible becomes automatic. And here's the final paradox. When you master self-discipline, you unlock joy. Yes, joy. Because joy comes not from indulgence, but from growth. Joy comes from living up to your potential. Joy comes from looking in the mirror and respecting the person staring back at you. Discipline gives you that gift. Let me leave you with this thought. Life is short. Every day you are either moving closer to your best self or drifting further away. Self-discipline is the compass that points you in the right direction. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters that you begin. It matters that you keep going. So the next time you feel tired, the next time you feel tempted to quit, the next time you hear that voice in your head telling you later or tomorrow, remember this: your future self is begging you not to listen. Your future self is waiting for you to choose discipline today. Because in the end, self-discipline is not just about success. It's about freedom. It's about respect. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. And that, my friend, is the greatest power of all.